Dana White came up with a shocking statement about Jon Jones fighting at the White House. But did Dana White really block Jon Jones out of the White House event? Or was it maybe more some frustration that just got a little bit misinterpreted by UFC fans in this video? Hello and welcome to Bloodsport MMA.
Assalamu alaikum everyone.
Alright you guys, let's get right into the whole topic. So this was Dana White's first statement. So this was right when it got announced. As you probably know by now, the UFC will hold an event at the White House, July 4th, 2026 for the 250th anniversary of the USA at the White House. Will be absolutely mental if it then happens. They're still working on the logistics and seeing if it's possible and all of that. And it will be non-exclusive to the fans, so it's invite only. That means you can attend even if you want to, right? But about this topic now with Jon Jones. This was the first statement that Dana White gave right when they just announced that this event will happen, when he got asked the first time about Jon Jones fighting there.
This card was built for him.
Just one for me regarding the White House card and Jon Jones and the saga that's gone on with him the last couple months. He obviously has made it clear that he wants to be on that card. With everything that's happened, are you going to bring him back?
Well, we wouldn't even start building that card until, still a long time.
Is he in consideration?
It's literally a year from now. It's
right.
Like...
With everything that's gone on with him, though, or would you welcome him back with open arms at that time?
It's a year away. It's not even worth talking about who would be on the card. The entire MMA landscape will be different a year from now.
Yeah, so he's not really answering the question. He's giving a valid answer though, which is what I think as well. It's so far away, why even talk about it now? We don't know how the world's gonna look in a year, so yeah. But I think there was another clip, I didn't find it right now, but there was another clip where for the first time since the announcement, someone mentioned that Jon Jones now is unretired because of it, and Dana White was like, looked like a happy kid about it. But now let's look at what he said after this event, UFC 318. Dana White came out with a little bit different statement, I would say. Let's listen to it.
With him and go through the renderings.
And I will analyze it while we listen to it.
See what he wants to do.
Different question? No.
Jon Jones says he wants to be on there too, and he says he would fight whoever the champion
9 days later, 7 days later, by the way.
Time. But would you be okay with him coming back and potentially winning that belt again? And you might have to go through.
Well, it's not even.
And the reporter asked a good question, winning that belt again, because that's the real hazard. I'll get to that in a second.
About him winning the belt. I mean,
it's not about him winning the belt, okay?
You know how I felt about him.
You know how I felt about him. We know that you always loved Jon Jones and glazed him wherever you could. So I don't know what he's referring to there.
I can't risk putting him in big positions in a big spot and have something go wrong.
Okay, but I don't really understand that. I can't risk having him in big position, big spots, and something going wrong. Like, what are you referring to? Like in recent memory, you always put him in big positions. Madison Square Garden, the most important event of the year. It's the biggest UFC event of the year, the most expensive UFC event of the year. You always put him there. The last 3 years in a row, he was at least scheduled. One time he had to pull out due to an injury. That can happen to everyone. You literally pulled his pack off. Like, of course he can't fight then. But otherwise, he always headlined those events, and you put him in those big spots. Now you say you can't risk putting him, like, why? What are you referring to? You're referring to the PED issues he had back in 2000, I don't know, when he fought Daniel Cormier UFC 200, for example? Like, that was a long ass time ago. And I don't think he's referring to that. That wouldn't make any sense. Because he's put him in big positions ever since then. And he never really pulled out of a fight other than when he refused to fight Chael Sonnen, which was the big thing, right? He was scheduled to fight Dan Henderson, and Henderson got injured. They offered him Chael Sonnen on a couple days' notice. He said no. That was the big thing that Dana was so pissed about. But here, what is he referring to? I can't risk putting him in that position. Like, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
You think Jon Jones would pull out of the fight in the White House? You know how Jon Jones feels about Trump and America and all of that. He's a heavy patriot. Like, Jon Jones literally, like, okay, if he pulls his pack off again, okay, you can't fight like that. But there's no risk of Jon Jones, like, not fighting on that card. Of course, Jon Jones is overall always a risky fighter with all the things he does out of training camp. But normally when Jon Jones in training camp and all, like, he's more or less reliable. Like, I don't really see the argument there, especially because When they asked him about Conor, he did not say anything about that. And Conor is probably less reliable recently than Jon Jones. You know what I mean? But they're both guys that when it comes to fighting, they show up to fight. Out of fights, they're out of their minds. But when it comes to the fights, they normally show up. So what is he referring to? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Fair enough.
Yeah, especially the White House card.
Especially the White House cards. Okay, yeah. But let's analyze this real quick. Because I understand why he does not want him to fight Aspinall overall and not on the White House. I understand that. Because if Jon Jones comes back, he comes back for that one fight, because we'll get to the Jon Jones tweet in a second. He does not come back for anything else than the White House card. So if Jon Jones then goes and beats Aspinall in the hypothetical case, you then have a guy who just came back, beats your current champion that you tried to sell, right? Aspinall is their new champion. They tried to sell him now as a champion. So Jon Jones coming in, beating your champion, and then riding off into the sunset again is the worst thing that can happen to you. From a whole marketing perspective, that's horrible. And that's the last thing the UFC wants, that someone retires again after one fight with the belt. That's the worst. That's why they hated GSP for so long. They hate that stuff. So that's a valid reason that the reporter mentioned as well, why he would not want him to fight overall again. Or on the White House card again, because Jon Jones said he only wants to fight on this card. That makes sense. You know what I mean? Or that you're pissed because he retired, even though you offered him the money that he wanted. I understand all of those things. I'm not trying to defend Jon Jones here. I'm just saying what he says here doesn't make any sense. And if you come with a criminal record, that also doesn't make any sense. You know how many UFC fighters have criminal records, bro? You know how many UFC fighters have criminal records? And he did not decline Conor McGregor from being on that card. Conor McGregor literally has a criminal case in the state of New York with the whole Habib thing, with the thing you threw on the bus. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many UFC fighters that have criminal pasts and all of that. And I know Jon Jones has an ongoing legal case, but that will probably be solved by then. And it's not like no one that has any criminal thing can't enter the White House. Like, it's Jon Jones. It's not a random dude it's not a fan. It's Jon Jones. You know what I mean? And having Jon Jones fighting at the White House would make the most sense. Because heavyweight division, having a American heavyweight champion would be the best thing. Plus, Aspinall is English. Jon Jones is from the US. US against England. What is the whole USA anniversary all about? The USA beating the English 1776. You know what I mean? Like, it makes all the sense in the world. And Jon Jones is a great guy to headline this event because he is a real American. Whether you like what he does outside of the octagon has nothing to do with that. I do not agree with those things he does outside of the octagon, but he still is the best guy to headline that event. There's no other American champion right now. And he's not a champion anymore, but you get what I'm saying. So, yeah. And Jon Johnson said this. I heard the comment. I don't have my glasses on, so I can barely read this. I heard the comments made at last night's press conference. While I was a little disappointed, I'm still in the UFC struck testing pool. That doesn't make any sense. Didn't he say he went out of the testing pool and in again? Why did he say I'm still? I don't get it. But anyways, staying sharp and continuing to train like a professional. Continue to train like a professional, but didn't he say that he doesn't train and he didn't train since the Stipe fight? What do you mean continue to train? If you say I start training again, okay, but continuing to train like a professional, like what are you talking about? I'll be ready for whatever comes next. Okay. In a recent interview, I shared that the opportunity to fight at the White House gave me something deeper to fight for, a why that goes beyond paychecks or belts. Fighting for a country gives me a greater purpose. I understand that, and I completely believe that that's the case. I completely believe that that's the only reason why he would come back. It has nothing to do with Aspinall here in this case. He's not saying, oh, I'll fight at the White House, but only if it's not Tom Aspinall. That doesn't matter here. I can really understand as well. I'm not trying to glaze Jon Jones, and I do not agree with the whole how it all went down with Aspinall. But I understand that after all that time, when you retired it, the only reason why you would come back is for something bigger than just a fight. And the White House card is something bigger than just a fight. That's why so many even retired fighters say, I would come back to fight at the White House. Even guys like Michael Bisping said, you know what I mean? So I understand that. The silver lining in all of this, knowing the fans see my heart. They see I'm already willing to take anyone representing my country on a historic stage For me, it's never been just about the opponent. I'm chasing a legacy, something timeless, something bigger than the moment. As I said, I understand the point here. So for now, I'll keep grinding, stay patient, stay faithful. I'm ready to fight on July 4th. Yeah, you don't have to grind right now for July 4th. I mean, that is literally a year away from now. So like, he's not the guy that has to acquire any new skills or something. He just has to stay somewhat fit and be healthy to go into training camp as soon as it's time for that. But I don't really get that whole conversation because, look, at the end of the day, it is still a year until this event will happen. So a lot of water will go down the bridge. And I can tell you that if Jon Jones is healthy and ready when they start to put the card together and says, I will 100% be down to fight at the White House, I can tell you they will put him on the White House card. I can really not see that they will not accept him on that card, because he is still one of the best selling fighters. He is the best fighter to ever live, the most accomplished fighter at least to ever live. Whether he's not the greatest, in my opinion, I will do a video about that because of the word greatness, how I interpret this. English is failing me, but you get what I'm saying. I am 100% sure they will put him on that card if he wants to. I do think that, and I do think it makes sense. Like, whether you love him or hate him, you want to see him fight, and he's an American champion. He's not a champion anymore, but you get the message. You know what I mean? So why would you not, like, of course you put him on the card if he wants to. And he loves the president. Trump likes him as well. And if Trump says, I want Jon Jones on the card, Jon Jones will be on that card, bro. So yeah, this is my opinion about the whole thing. I think we interpret more into this than it actually is. I think Dana's just frustrated with him, blah, 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 and wants to shut down all those talks and all of that. And a lot of water will go down the bridge until then, and we will see what happens as soon as the time comes. As Max Holloway says, we'll see Saturday night, and it is what it is. This is my opinion, right? Your opinion in the comments, you guys. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel. Would appreciate that. Become a member of the channel. All the good stuff. I appreciate all the support, you guys. Stay bloody. Until the next one. Bye-bye. Bloodsport out.